I don't know what time it is. 7:49. Close that.
Been close to an hour.
It's been an hour. Yeah.
Close to it.
Okay, so the breathing room that we're talking about is absolutely explained 100%. And the problem with this is, I mean, this is fine, fruit fly. This is fine. What's happening right here, it's expected. The problem with this is all of your yeast. This is what makes your booze. It's running outside of your container. But, you know, you got to live with what you got. You know, I could have left a little more room, but regardless. Here's what's going to happen. It'll stop doing that eventually. The container that it's in will completely heat up. You'll touch it, it'll be 88 degrees when it's at full activation, which again tells you, well, you're making booze, which is good. This tells us we're making booze. We've got enough within the hour to create the activity that we're having right now. This is fermentation. See the bubbles release as this cap is not fully tight. You don't want this cap to be fully tight. If you take this cap off, it's going to be like root beer. I mean, it's going to be. So you want to try and keep that all in there. Just enough air room for the gases to escape so the container does not blow up, which will absolutely happen if you tighten that lid down. Oops, you don't want that loose. If you tighten this lid down 100%, this container here will explode. So you don't want to do that. All right, I'm aggravated with the fact that we don't have a real good live feed here. It's hard for me to keep going. I don't like chewing my cabbage twice. You know, I can't keep explaining over and over again what's going on. What you have is a definite fermentation. It took. You're buffering. Jane. Oh, I'm sorry, Joanne. Joanne, I know. Thing is completely fucked. But here, before it, God, I'm so hammered right now. I can't even talk anymore. What happens? You don't want to close that tightly because it'll blow this container through before. That is just the expansion you're gonna get when you make booze. And you can see, look at that, check that out. All those little critters, the yeast, are starting to do their dive. They dive down. You know, each one of them will dive down. They eat food. They gobble it, and then when they run out of oxygen, like a snorkeler, like if you've ever snorkeled in your life, you got oxygen up here. You dive down. You get whatever you're after on the bottom, food, which most of us are anyways, and then they come back up for air again. So don't ever. God, I gotta trim these fingernails. Don't ever shake this concoction once it starts boiling or cooking, is what I call it. And tomorrow, if you've made this concoction, or the following day of when you made it, you'll understand what I'm talking about because it'll be warm. Starting to warm up, but warm up to 88 degrees is usually about where it goes. 88 to 120 degrees is what it heats up to. That's the living rate for most colonies of yeast. That's all I really got. fuck. That's all I got. The storm's hitting us now in Illinois. The storm everybody else is going through over there on the West Coast is hitting us right now. I guess it's a cross stream of something or another. This is a good sign. This is booze in the manufacturing. 3 days to a week. It'll be alcoholic, and it will fuck you up. And it should taste really, really good too. If it's bitter or tart or anything like that, add some more sugar to it. Hey, Joan. Are we getting through live? Did I call her Joan? Joanne. I am so sorry, Joanne. Oh my God. I'm half in the bag, sister. I'm so happy somebody watches our shit. I mean, really. But if, what are you making? Okay, cool. If you go back and check it out, in Booze Manufacturing 101, it's got the recipe how to make Applejack is what this is called. It's starting to rain here, so I'm talking louder, obviously. It's wine. It's an apple wine. But if you did this with, I don't care what kind of juice you've got, or liquid, if you just did this with, if you use that same measurement that I gave everybody on Booze Making 101, if you made it with water, you will still come out with the same ABV, different flavor profiles though. The thing is, I like flavor. I like things that taste good. So we're making wine, apple wine right now. Applejack or hooch, a lot of people call it hooch. This is a very inexpensive, let's see if we can show these little divers. You guys see the yeast? That's the yeast doing that thing I was talking about. They dive down, they dive back up. The yeast is all up here. And they're actually jumping out of the container because we put so much in. This is all yeast right here, and it's coming out of the wine. It's blowing itself out of the wine, looking for food. Well, I think it's. I don't know exactly. It's the gas is pushing them out of the wine. Is what's happening. Don't tighten the lid down. The container will blow up. I'm drunk, and the storm is here. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it on there for a little bit. Let's see. The expiration date. Nobody really wants to see that. So science class here. I don't think it'll make. I don't think at this point they'll make their way all the way to the bottom. I'm actually kind of curious to see if they go all the way to the bottom. But look at all the yeast that's made its way out. Let's see if it goes all the way to the bottom, because I always do this in solid containers. This is kind of educational for me at this point now. Are they making their way all the way to the bottom and diving back up again? Wow. They do. They're all the way at the bottom gobbling that sugar. Holy shit. Immediately, they make their way to the bottom. They don't fuck around. I'm talking to my wife. Yeah. Yeah, that's impressive. I didn't know that. I thought that. Well, what's happening? Let me just explain what's going to go on here now. This yeast will start eating. Why you don't want to shake this container is because the yeast is eating the sugar, and it starts at the top and it keeps eating its way down. And what it's doing is it's transferring the sugar for alcohol. So right now there's alcohol in this container, not a bunch, not a whole lot. If you drank this whole container, you would not get drunk. But there's enough in there. If you drank many of these containers, you'd probably get drunk. So what it's doing is, God, I'm fucking wasted. But believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I promise you. Shiny bottle. Um, okay, so the perfect transfer of love and hate. We hate to be sober, and the yeast loves sugar. So what it's doing is it's eating the sugar that we put in here, and it's in the fruits. It eats the sugar, and its transference of that, its byproduct is carbon dioxide and booze, which is a great transfer for us. So as long as these guys are gobbling, that means we are getting booze. You don't want this container, this transparent container, to be touching light, because these guys doing is, so they keep eating the sugar, eating ethanol, the booze. A milky white, a brownish slime down here at the bottom, and it's coming a little bit up here, but they pretty much ate all the sugar out. Once you see that foam down there and it's not bubbling so much like it's doing right now, you have a great wine. Drink it, you're gonna get hooked up. That's all I got. I'm all done with this tutorial. I just want to get drunker and go to bed. Cheers. That's all I got. Cheers, everybody.